Mr. President, my name is Winston Ojukutu Macaulay, Junior Africa Analytical. Mr. President, the Senegalese president some time ago last year said that NEPAD is dead. I would like you to react to that. And also, what do you say to those people who think that Africa wasn't properly represented in this summit today, sir? And my last question, the British Prime Minister just made a statement that trade is the kind of engine for growth. And the biggest problem Africa faces is trading within itself. We have a situation in Africa where West Africa cannot trade with East Africa. East Africa cannot trade with South Africa. It is even cheaper to trade with Europe than to trade within Africa. So can you enlighten us here, sir, that what do you take from here to actually help change that position? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, as I've stated, the chair of NEPAD was present in this at the summit. That is the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. So NEPAD isn't dead. NEPAD is very much alive and kicking. Secondly, the issue of trade within the continent is contingent upon the development of infrastructure. First and foremost, the road infrastructure would facilitate better interaction between countries on the continent and therefore enhance trade possibilities. And that is why Africa is divided into three economic communities. There is ECOWAS, there is SADC, and there is the East Africa community. And within those three communities, they have agreed to have free economic zones so that they can enhance capacity to trade among themselves. But of course, that is still hampered a great deal by poor infrastructure, and that is why it's so critical to secure this commitment to finance infrastructure development. We participate in this G20 summit not as a representative of Africa. And each time we speak, we make the point of emphasizing this fact because we were invited as an emerging economy. And we have always, even in today's sessions, it was raised again that Africa should be invited in her own right. So we do represent, of course, in preparing for our participation, we do canvass views of sister countries. Our ministers of finance and central bank governors met in preparing for our participation here. So the views that we express also articulate the needs of Africa as a continent, but we do so by default, not so much that we have been mandated to represent Africa. Thanks.
Okay, next question here.
Catherine Haddon from AFP. You mentioned in your comments that the Doha development round would be concluded. There had been an agreement on that today. I was just wondering if you could tell us if a timescale for that had been agreed, how soon we could expect that to happen.
Well, the agreement by the political leaders is that and as you know, the WTO participates in this summit, was that they should take forward the discussions and that by the next meeting of the G8, there will have to be a progress report If there are still, unresolved issues, then the leaders will consider those issues and ensure that they are able to find each other in order to facilitate the reaching of an agreement in the negotiations here.
Okay, let's take the next one then.
Thank you. Sid Verma from Emerging Markets newspaper. Some say the crisis has led some to believe that South Africa needs to rethink its development strategies now that we're entering a new era which puts less emphasis on financial liberalisation as well as privatisation and tight fiscal spending. I just wondered what you thought of that in light of the fact that we've heard Gordon Brown just saying the Washington consensus is now over. And also I just wondered if South Africa was mulling accessing the IMF's new flexible credit line as well as other strategies to pursue external borrowing sources. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as a country, South Africa has that line open to approach the IMF for funding, but we've always adopted the view that we should only access that kind of financing as and when the need arises. At the moment, we do not have need for it. And we think it's only fair to allow space, as I said, for the more needy countries, sister countries, to access that kind of funding. At the moment, we have no need for it.
Okay, next one.
Well, we have never been the adherents of the Washington consensus. We have always followed our own homegrown approach to matters of development, and we don't take an ideological approach to that question. We in a way were lucky in that we were selected to host the FIFA World Cup in 2010, and that meant that we had a need to invest handsomely in infrastructure development, and this crisis therefore came around at a point when we had already laid out investments in the infrastructure development here. Thank you.
Thank you.